Maybe you're tired. Don't let your body get tired, as it resolves with a sound night, more than tired of the soul, a type of exhaustion that is not explained directly, except that you carry it in time. Maybe you are hearing something, pouco tu outros, pouco de Deus. Maybe you heard too much, as voices give guilt, give doubt, give comparison. O que você sentes more than sadness, and like your faith, you are quiet, trying to understand why, even being cold, it seems that the night never gets worse. And you were wondering, wasn't it? Why, sir? Why are you what you always try to do? Or are you suffering so much? The truth is that many people are saying that being faithful to God is synonymous with a peaceful life. It is enough to believe, pray, and everything will align. But this is not the reality of carrying a real boy. Because it is hidden, it passes through things that the world does not understand. And perhaps this is what is happening with you now. I don't know that God abandoned you. It is not that he stays long. Maybe precisely because he loves you so much, he is allowing this pain, not as a punishment, but as a preparation. Hoje, we are going to talk about this, not with simple answers, more like a truth that consoles, that clarifies, that liberates. We are going to talk about 5 spiritual reasons why the aspirations of God confront so much pain. This is not about common suffering, the day-to-day problems that everyone faces. He is falando daquela dor que fere em silêncio, daquela dor que ninguém vê, mas que você leva para o travesseiro. The one you see after everything, or who you called out for love. And just like that, he was ignored, brought over, cut off. This video is not to explain Deus to you. He is to tell you that he sees you, that Ele knows. So there is a reason for everything you are feeling. Because what is breaking you is exactly what is going to sustain other people. E não, isso não é romanticized dor. Isso é reconhecer que há dores que vêm com purpose. Let there be tears that water destinies, that there are silences that heal more than 1,000 words. In tone, breathes. Release a little bit of weight. You don't need to defend yourself now. You don't need to look strong. Here, you could be what you are, tired, confused, like something wrong. But above all, here you hear that perhaps you are waiting for a long time. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. And your dream, no matter how hard it may seem, has direction. Hoje, Deus will give you understanding. Now you will realize that the suffering of 2 escolhidos is not injustice. It is wrong. When it dries, it is the crucible that purifies the true escolhidos. Every suffering is a sign of error. Sometimes it is exactly or opposite. At times, you are missing not because you are outside of God's will, but because you are exactly where you should be. It's so difficult to understand when everyone inside you screams for relief. When a soul asks for help, but the response seems no veer. There is a silent error that many hidden ones carry without perceber, accrediting that the name of God comes with a total protection against the door. As if fidelity shields us from tears, from loss, from injustice. But the truth is that the greater the purpose, the greater the fire that prepares you for it. The light does not shine before using the heat. E quem Deus escolhe, ele firstiro molda, not with applause, but with silence. Not as comfort, but as a cross. That's why so many give up before the time. We confuse discipline with control, accum that in the absence of benefits you see the sign of disapproval. But the word is clear. O Lord, correct the kem ama. Hebrews 12:6. He does not correct for raiva. He does not correct out of contempt. He corrects for love. Because he sees you only now. He sees you as an instrument, as a cure for others, as an answer for dores que ainda nem chegaram. Maybe what you are experiencing today is not punishment, but preparation, a type of stoning that only one person understands. You say, dói. See people who live in any way prosper as you, who seek to please God. hardly manage to breathe in peace. But there is a difference. They are collecting moments. Você is building eternity. Então, if a door is present, not because Deus esqueceu, that's because he hasn't finished forging you. The question is not why did I eat, but why not now? Because when it's time to check out, you will understand that nothing was in vain. Nenhum shouted in anger, nenhuma hidden tear, nenhuma oração feita no escuro. Everything is so gone, everything was prepared, because our light only shines after the fire. E Deus só envia los fortes após o quebrantamento. O isolation of Deus, when Ele hides to reveal. There are times when the phone seems dated. In that, the silence of God echoes louder than any prayer. Em que você sente que está fazendo tudo certo e mesmo assim o vazio continua. That's the kind of silence that many think is hard to come by. But there is a spiritual truth that few falam. The silence of God is always absent. Sometimes he answers, sometimes it is protection. Deus does not abandon you, Zeus, but he hides when he needs to reveal. Ele cala, when the barulho around is too high, he removes the evidence to strengthen the essence. It is not punishable. Be careful. But the human heart is pressed. I want Sinais. I want confirmations. I want to feel. And when I didn't sit, I concluded, Deus me deixou. But no, Deus is working not dark, because the semiador does not shout like a seed as it grows. During this silence, confusing emotions arise: solidarity, resistance, resignation that seems unfair. But these emotions are not symptoms of abandonment, so marks of spiritual training. It seems that your voice is being detoxified by applause, by human validation, by immediate dependence. God is teaching you to walk with faith. Nothing you feel, nothing you see. Jose understands Isso no Caça. After being brought, sold, cut, it remains. And even when it seemed that everything had been in vain, Deus o promoveu. Not before silence, but because of silence. Because it is not dark that it deepens at the root. It is not hidden that the character is formed, and the isolation that the true messengers of God reveal is that divine presence is not about noise, it is about purpose. So even if you look at what is in silence, it does not mean that God is long. It means that he is more ready than ever, working without his eyes, still unable to see. Ele is hiding to reveal. Ele is waiting to prepare you, because when he breaks the silence, it will be the voice of destiny. Anywhere that looks like abandonment will be evidence of intimacy. Dor as a warning when Deus allows suffering to save the soul. Nem todo dor vem to destroy. Some chegam to agree for what you didn't want to see, to break what you insisted on maintaining. Há dores que não são maldição, so mercy. And as contradictory as it may seem, there is sadness that we see disguised as salvation. There are links that secure us from the power of God. Relationships, dependencies, emotional attachments that seem harmless, but rather silently divert us from the path. And when the soul refuses to energize, Deus allows the soul to fail. Because at the same time he shouts, while at the same time he is silent. A door reveals what emotion he tried to hide. And sometimes what seems unfair is, in truth, a spiritual alert. It is difficult to oil some colhaters as a result of brushing. It is difficult to admit that the current anguish does not see anything. It was built in small concessões, in repetitions that we ignore the interior. And so, even as a consequence, God transforms in direction. He does not waste pain. He transforms punishment into purpose. He hits what he was and stands up like a lição. Jonas discovered this is not the ventre do peixe. He fled from the chamado, took the opposite path, knowing that he could negotiate with God, more to dor or redirection to anguish or fez voltar. not by force, but by mercy. Because sometimes either he's crushing you or he's saving you from something worse. So if you are facing something that seems unfair, be silent for a moment and ask yourself, is this bothering me or approaching me from God's will? Because what seems like punishment can be liberation in the form of anguish. And whatever you call a crisis, Amanhã will be named as the day that your soul returned to listen to a voice that always stays there, calling your name, but not Meo da Dor. When Deus uses Dor to reveal that he really is with you. Few things dumb so much as discovering that I walked next to you never before de facto com você, that the hug was for convenience, that the company was out of interest, that, or you were here, was only valuable as long as there was something to gain. But Deus vê o que você não vê. And, out of love, he allows him to reveal. In certain moments of life, God pulls the Cho to show that his Mo is truly safe. He allows loss or silence to doença, not to punish you, but to expor. He exposed impure ties, worn alliances, people who seemed to be embedded in his history, but in truth we were only in passage. When the status disappears, when the favor changes, when the function ends, you will discover what happens. Burn pray, quem se importa, quem sustains. Jesus lived isso. No moment of greatest. Dor, when everything disappeared, Pedro. He who promised his fidelity tied to death, or nego. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. And it was there was a surge of solidity which was truly revealed. Not to condemn Peter, but to teach Jesus, to us, that every alliance is solid, that every company is present, and that every friend has no soul. I had the power to throw away the masks that I still tolerated. She has no mind. She shows. She separates what is genuine from what was interest. And as painful as it may be, this revelation is necessary. Because a name like someone cannot be built on wrong people. Because a true unsung cannot be sustained by friendships that are some soul. Maybe now you are selling people and they will be afraid. Maybe you are trying to understand why so much frieza, so much indifference, logo de quem você mais ajudou. But perhaps it is not abandonment. Maybe it's God cleaning his path, separating the wheat from the wheat, pulling the weight that you had no courage to let go. And when everything is so passar, você vai perceber, quem ficou era a raiz, quem saiu era a folha. What now seems solid, tomorrow will be freedom. Because God does not want you to spend a long time carrying something that is going to slow you down, or that he wants to speed up. By isso, ele allows, ele expõe, ele reveals. So that what is built from here may be pure, may be strong, may be pure. To door 2 escolhidos as a legacy for others. Some injuries are just not ours. Know that at no certain time it will blossom in other lives. But as soon as we continue to bleed, we all manage to ask, why? Why eat me? Why so much pain? What did he want to do to vontade de Deus? A response them always see with logic. Sometimes she sees me miss. There are things that cannot be understood, são para serem obeyed. Because there is a hidden purpose that leaves you exhausted. A purpose that is very far from what your other eyes can see. O que Deus faz como los escolhidos, muitas vezes não é por les, e travezes them. This is so that others may be healed by their history, so that he is at the bottom of the well. I found a scar in his words, in his testimonio, in his scar. It was like Paulo. He secreted letters inside a prison, com feridas no corpo, com dores na alma, com correntes nos pés. These letters, full of revelation, continue to free people hereafter. Because what seemed to be Paulo's work was just the beginning of the legacy that God has prepared through him. But for this legacy to exist, it must be crossed, or it is worth losing faith. It is necessary to go through desertion, knowing that one does not walk by merit, but by grace. Don't let it be sautéed by chance, but rather because it's cooked. That the tear of leaves is the meaning of love, and that what destroyed you will be exactly what will build others. Therefore, do not depreciate your color. Don't hide it like shame. Write down, save, transform it into prayer, diario, sacred tree. Because this page weighs, you will be the someone's survival manual. It will be answered for questions that still need to be answered. And when you least wait, here's what will break you, or what will lift others. The truth is hard, but necessary. Your dream may never make sense to you, but it will make sense for the kingdom, because God does not waste a cross. I am called to carry one. I am also called to resurrect many. The testimony that transforms comes with a door that almost destroyed you, but not destroyed, because the purpose was greater. And here it is, a false peace that many confuse with purpose. Every silence is a sign of peace. Todo calmia vem de Deus. There are moments when everything seems calm, light, but inside, something is asleep. There is no peace. He escapes. Anesthesia gives soul. It is that feeling of relief that in truth masks disconnection with the divine will. There is a spiritual misunderstanding that many of us live in silence, proving that the easiest path is the most rewarding, that in the absence of conflict is a sign of approval. But true peace does not ignore truths. He does not bother us by confronting us like the flesh, like the ego, like the attachments that God wants to deal with. The peace of God is not omitted. It is the address, and many times it passes through the real world. Jesus lives iso no Gethsemane. He was exactly in the center of the pie's heart, and likewise his soul was anguished until death. You have no relief, you have agony, but it was a holy agony, a door that apontava for or purpose, a door that did not paralyze, but rather empurrava para a cruz. Because Ele knew, every calm sea come from God. Some weapons are inimigo to keep you long at your destination. Therefore, it is necessary to discern, is this peace that you feel today, is it present or is it escaping? Does it bring you closer to God, or does it just scare you away? Because you don't confront, you don't heal. It does not give. It does not transform. We never see the peace of God as a disgrace. She is true. And even when she crosses through the door, she carries the certainty that she is not alone. She does not ignore or suffer. She goes through with purpose, or suffering as a revealer of spiritual identity. Make sure you don't pull anything from your voice. You barely reveal that your voice has always been. And this is the most scary thing, because the suffering does not mask. It exposes. He starts off, or that it was a facade. He crumbles, or it was appearance. And in the middle of ruin, the real flame appears. A true identity. This is what God knew, but you still have no courage to see. Many passam a vida fugindo da dor como se ela fosse error. A sign of spiritual fraqueza, an indication that a faith falhou. But the truth is that it does not disqualify you. She molds you. It does not hinder your purpose. She drags you to her. Because only He understands what it means to be cold. Only that He bleeds in. Silence understands the value of authority that is born in the cave. Moisés needed to leave the palace to discover what it really was. He needed desertion, anonymity, the silence of his flock, so that his identity as a liberator could be formed. Because Deus does not reveal identity in the comfort zone, it reveals the place where the soul screams and the heart breaks. And perhaps it seems that this is happening with you now. A door is not canceling you. She is revealing you. What you are feeling is not abandonment, it's baitism. a type of baptismo that does not use water but fire, that we do not see with celebration but with silence, that does not confirm with praise but rather with congratulations and recommendations. Because what God called for great things, he first broke in a profound way, and depois rebuilt with purpose. Who doesn't understand his door will not understand his spiritual authority, because a unit that is being formed on your own is more expensive than anyone else imagines. It takes resignation, tears, clear nights, and the courage to continue even without a plate. Same without explanation, same without force. But this is the place where God finds you. That is the place that he reveals to you. Você é mais do que sua dor. Você é chamado no meio dela. Let's go to the end of this walk. But the truth is that for you, perhaps it is just the beginning of a new understanding. Because now, perhaps for the first time, you will be able to smell your dream with other eyes. Not as a friend, but as a messenger. Not as a sentence, but as an address. Not as a punishment, but as living proof that God is still investing in me. During this video, you hear about the fire that purifies, the silence that prepares, the love that saves, the losses that reveal us, and the sufferings that we leave behind. Você viu que nem todo dor é just, nem every desert is abandonment, in all silence and absence. Some dores vêm to interrupt or that afastava you from God. Others, to reveal what you never want to face. But all of them, without exception, can be transformed by Ele into part of his job. Você não está só. You never heard me. What you felt like abandonment was just working in silence. O que você chamou de perda, it was Deus esvaziando suas mãos to place something eternal. What seemed humiliation was stoning. What seemed like it was just the beginning of the kingdom being built within you. It doesn't matter how much they ignore you or how much they mislead you, or how much they prove to you that your dream was exaggeration, drama, spiritual frailty. Deus viu tudo, and he does not despise my broken heart. It doesn't look like it's still dark now. He is not afraid of burning hot water. On the contrary, it is Nesses that he most inhabits. These are the things that Ele more tells. You were not chosen for an easy life. It was chosen for an eternal purpose. And even though no one applauds you, even though few understand the importance of what you carry, or how much you say, and for that reason, God will honor you, not with fame, more peace, not with human responses, but with divine direction. Then receive this truth in your spirit. I was not rejeição, it was refinement. It was not abandonment, it was preparation. Deus is not distant, Ele is molding. And when everything is soon, you will not be just someone who survives in the dark. It will be someone who bears the testimony of a God who transforms wounds into a calling, that transforms or breaks some authority. It transforms the pain of brushing into an instrument to cure diseases. If you heard this video, help us by watching it, sharing it, and leaving a comment. These simple gestures helped us a lot. Obrigado, and até the next video.